Hey everyone, it's Jack with Real Deal Crew. I really appreciate you joining me here. We're going to try to do something kind of fun. We're going to do a quick comparison of the different vibe coding tools by just simply using a single prompt and seeing what results we get. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm creating a funnel. And if you're not familiar with what a funnel is, a funnel website is designed to guide visitors through a specific process, engaging them to take actions like signing up for a newsletter or making a purchase. It typically features targeted landing pages that streamline the user's experience and increasing conversion rates. Well, we're going to make one for a house buyer. But in the end, we're just going to do this initial one so that we can see which platform we want to wrestle with to go through the whole process. But you're probably asking yourself, what is this whole vibe coding thing? Well, vibe coding is an AI-assisted software development technique where developers are using natural language prompts to instruct a large language model or LLM to generate code without reviewing or editing it. This approach allows even those without extensive programming skills to create applications quickly, but it raises concerns about code and quality and security. It's kind of interesting they bring that up at the end there, but at least we're all on the same page. So when it comes to a one-page website, if you will, we're probably not going to have to be too concerned about some of that. We'll check out V0, Bolt, Replit, and Lovable. Those four are the ones that I'm going to target here regarding this. There are a few others, but they are a bit more technical and code-based, so like Cursor, for example. But we're going to focus on these four. I gave them each the exact same prompt, and we're going to just see which one provided that initial site to kind of start to develop from. So let's start with V0. And when I give the prompt, it is just very basic, one page, black and white letters, no color, nothing here to really see. It did get some decent content, but the prompt was quite long and I was kind of expecting more here. So V0 is probably could get it there, but this is something that was this the most streamlined. Bolt kind of did something a little bit more modern. You can see that on the right side there, there's a shadow behind the form. It definitely followed suit, gave us some additional color here, the 5 stars, and it built out a frequently asked questions section at the bottom. One of the things that I think is really kind of interesting is that I specifically asked it to create like an offer. And so I guess this is kind of the offer section here. We didn't really see that to the irresistible offer is actually what I called it. I called it in the prompt, but it doesn't, V0 didn't really build that out. Bolt didn't really build it out either, but it did build out a better frequently asked question section, and how it works is pretty decent. I don't mind that. Let's go to Replit. Replit was kind of interesting in the fact that it took me a long time to get anything out of Replit because the service was down, or it kept saying on the free tier, and I'm only using the free tier initially for all of these. Replit just kept saying that their services were inundated with high usage or something right now. So the free tier wasn't available until I checked here today, and it finally did. What I think is interesting here is that it for some reason generated an image of a Fargo family home, but it's not used anywhere on here. And this one would have probably moved right to the top of the list if it had somehow incorporated this image, maybe put it in the hero section of this page, but it didn't. And this is the only platform that when you gave it that initial prompt, it asked you 2 questions. It asked you if you wanted to build out the app, or if you wanted it to just do the initial design. And I said the initial design. So Right now you can see it's asking whether you want to build the functionality or what should be your next move. I guess I would keep iterating the design, maybe ask it why this image wasn't used. But I do like this one. In fact, it gives you why sell your house, sell to house dudes. It's building these things out. Hovering over it actually shadows things out. I like this orange bar across here saying we only buy 5 more homes in Fargo-Moorhead this month. And it does have frequently asked questions. I like this our no pressure guarantee. I like all of that information in here. So Replit would probably be a good choice when it comes to this. And then we'll jump to Lovable. Lovable did probably the best when it comes to the actual content, because if you scroll through here, it doesn't look as organized, but it's the only one that put an image on the screen, and it built out this irresistible offer, and it's got kind of a different hovering thing. So if you hover over each of these squares, it kind of pops out a little bit. It gives some more credibility section, how it works, limited only. This is formatted better than Replit. This our guarantee built out a frequently asked questions section. So Lovable, although it's this initial design isn't like up to par, it actually seemed to have some of the better content regarding it based on that prompt. If you're curious about that prompt, comment below. If you would like that, maybe I'll put it in some sort of Google Drive or something and share it out so that you can see where I started. But in the end, I ended up choosing Lovable to go primarily because Replit just wasn't cooperating. That might have been a decent choice. But after some go ahead, I got Lovable to this point, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that later, but I'm really liking the layout of this, and we'll see where things go. But really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining me here today. That was just a quick, fun little, how does this work, how things went, and what we can do with these vibe coding applications. My goal is actually to see if I can outperform my current websites, which frankly aren't performing that great as of late. Well, if you found some value in what I talked about here today, could you do me a quick favor? Subscribe to the channel and maybe even share this with another investor friend. And if I can help you regarding any of these, hit me up. Head over to RealDealCrew.com. You can check out my podcasts. I talk to some very successful real estate investors and learning from them as to how they go about a few things. But yeah, this should be fun. We'll talk again soon.